There you go. All right. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
All right. I can see me now.
I'm glad I got my hair the way I got it. Looking
Yeah,
like
we both got
a whole snack. Okay.
Yes, we got it together. After all.
It looked like a whole snack. Let me get my life together.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Miss Heather.
See my little logo over here.
You see the logo? You see everything?
Wait a minute. Where are my books? Grab these in case they come up, you know.
Yes. Grab all the things.
Yes.
All the things. Okay.
In my sweater cup.
Right. You got it. You got it. Okay.
So okay, you can hear me good through my microphone?
Yes, we're here. We're here. Okay. So first we're gonna get started, and I had some questions lined up, but I think we're just gonna flow. But I do have an opening question that I'm going to ask you. And so that question is, and thank you for everyone who's watching or joining us today. We've already prayed and all that. So we did the business before we got on here. Okay, so here we go. So this is a community-based discussion just based on community realities in the real world. So with that being said, if you're just to break the ice on that topic, what we're talking about today is like you're in a community, and in that community, it's either not striving or people are starting and then they're abruptly stopping whatever it is that they've endeavored on and the whatever business they've ventured on, maybe because of lack of support or lack of resources. So it could be a number of things, right? And so my first question to you is, and first let me introduce Miss Heather to the to the viewers. Miss Heather is has a master's in education, and she is also she's a CEO, a speaker, and an author. Can we see your book, Miss Heather?
Okay. Well, here's book number 1.
That's book number 1. It's called Seasons
Crossing, A Spiritual Awakening.
Yes, so that's Miss Heather's first book that she wrote, and she also has another one. Let's see the next one.
This is book number 2.
All right, and the name of that
is Reflection. A 30-day devotional unto the Lord.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Miss Heather.
Book number 3. To Wholeness from Brokenness, Will Ye Be Made Whole?
Thank you. So Miss Heather is actually a 3-time author of 3 published books, and they're all I know for sure they're great reads. Just from knowing her, getting to know her, that I do know that she is a woman of God, and she does believe in helping her, sisters in Christ, and she also does believe in going forward, embracing the gifts that are inside of us, and pursuing those things adamantly. So yes, and also she is the owner of Anointed to Write LLC. So she does offer services within her business. So please follow her if you're watching. Click on her name, hit follow. She is someone that you can also learn from and also glean from, and also she has services that she offers the community. And so going forward, our first question would be for Miss Heather today. Miss Heather, like I said, you're in a community and you're a business owner and you're starting out and you have no idea what funding is available for you. So do you believe that that is the fault of the church, or do you feel, I mean, not the church, do you feel that it is a fault of the community leaders, or the community, or a lack of servicing over selectiveness for community leaders?
That's a very loaded question. And the reason I say it's loaded is because when you embark on this journey of entrepreneurship, it's your responsibility to ensure that you do all of the proper legwork, which includes research before you start. There is a lot of funding available. There's a lot of grants as well as loans that are available. There's a lot of things available for women in particular, for men in particular, for minorities in particular, for starter companies. I don't necessarily think there's a blame, but I do think there are disparities when it comes to who actually gets selected for things. So let me give you an example. We may find a grant, a scholarship. We may find a grant, which is free money. So that's what we want. We really don't want loans, but it's okay to have a business credit card. Just don't go crazy because you don't want to mess up your business credit.
Yeah.
But we may find a grant, and there's a lot of grants out there. And let's say, okay, let's be candid. Let's say a Black woman applies for a grant and a Caucasian man applies for a grant. Because of disparities and because of some biases, the man may get the grant before the women would, for a lot of reasons. And it's not just race, it's also gender specific.
Yeah, that's very
I almost want to say it's more gender specific than it is race, because a Black man can get a grant faster than a Black woman. A Black man can go further faster. This is the mentality than a Black woman could in business. That's the mentality. And since the mentality is already set, people operate in that, and we kind of follow suit. But even with those disparities, if we do our own research, we will find that there is a lot more out there. But for grants, you have to work for them. They're not just on the door.
Yeah. And so do you believe that having someone to write those grants is also a key factor, like researching that person who has had success in writing grants? Or do you pay for, a big production or service to do those grants for you?
I think that really depends on you. So I just signed up for a free grant writing class.
Okay.
I had just dibble and dabble and everything.
Wow.
But I've also done research because I do have a cousin who has a nonprofit. She has a 501c3 and she's had it since 2018. And I've watched her do a lot of things. And it intrigued me. So I did research on how to actually write a grant proposal. So you could do the research and learn for yourself if you're bold enough and you trust yourself enough to do that. Some people won't trust themselves, so they have to hire people. But again, you're going to have to look for these people, because for some reason you can't just go on Facebook and find somebody that says, I'm a grant writer, I write grant proposals. Like, I haven't really seen a lot of that. The way I found the group of people that I'm actually in collaboration with, honestly, it was through another group, just being a part of another group with them that kind of dismantled itself, if you will, and we created another group. So there is someone that is on Facebook that does grants, and there is someone that is also on Facebook that does business structuring and she helps you get funding, like federal funding. She also helps you get into the banks with your bank account as a business owner, and she shows you how to get business credit and how to build it. But again, I didn't just find those people just by going on Facebook. I was a part of a group, and then another group formed out of that group, and then that's how I learned they did that.
So what you're saying is we do have to infiltrate ourselves into these platforms and spaces. We can't just expect it to just pop up out of the blue. You have to like be adamant about putting yourself in those places and going out and doing the work, the legwork, to get it to actually be a part of that. So that's really good. Thank you for that. So next I want to ask you, as a business, okay, so as a 3-time author, how did you get your book into the community? Did you use the social media, or did you venture into other avenues like pop-up shops, book signings? Like, how did you get your book out, and how did you have help writing your book?
I did not have help writing it. The way I got my book out there, in the beginning, when I wrote my first book, it came out in 2017 under a actual small publishing company, but that particular publisher passed away, so I got the rights back. So it wasn't until 2022 that I self-published. And how I got the book out there, first I did, like you said, the pop-up shops, word of mouth, flyers. And then I realized that using other people's platforms helps. So anyone that would allow me to speak on their platform, I brought up my books. Anyone that would allow me to be a part of anything that they had, I always had my books on me. In June of this year, I got a book award, an Author All-Star Book Award. There, that actually opened the door for other things, because as Coach Taria Vision of I always says, recognition gets recognized. And so people are looking for two things, and this is what I always preach. People are looking for visibility and credibility. What makes you credible is what you know how to do and how you know how to do it. Where is the evidence that you know how to do what you say you know how to do? And these services that you're offering, where's your evidence? The evidence is that you have written a book. 2, 3. I have a 4th one coming out through a book collaboration that I was a part of. The visibility is being present, not just in social media, but also in the community, going to the pop-up shops, going to the networking events, going to different things that you're invited to. And when people want you to speak on their platform, go speak. When people want you to be a part of certain things, do it, because that's your visibility. Visibility plus credibility gains whatever it is that you're looking for, whether you're looking for economic growth, whether you're looking for more opportunities, whatever it is that you're looking for. And so that's what I've learned.
We have a guest, Mr. Asher.
Oh, him teething.
Yes, he's teething. So we have a little situation, nothing too big. Okay, so thank you for the information. That was so good. Visibility and credibility. Yes, people do want to know that you can do what you say you know how to do, or what you offer. It's going to be ideal for them to. Okay. Okay. All right. So people want to know that what you offer is ideal, and worth, their money, So that is really good. So I'm gonna ping that in the comments.
Yes, visibility plus credibility equals equitability.
Equitability. That's so good. Thank you. So visibility plus credibility. Let's see. Equals equitability. Just a brief moment, guys. We're coming. Oh, that's so good. You need to coin that. All right. Okay. So actually being who you say you are and giving people the opportunity to learn and to be a part of your vision and of your work. So that's always what we want to do, because that's how. And before I came on the live, as I was getting ready for this, I was like, initially you're like, oh, everything's crazy, you want to back out and do that. I was like, you know what, I committed to it, I scheduled it, I asked people to take time out of their day, so I want to show up, so that's what I said. No backing out. We've already, we're here now, and so that's it. And so people want to see you press through in spite of. And something I learned recently was just being patient with yourself. Even when you're starting a business and you're venturing into entrepreneurship, one sale is growth. One if you take a class a month, it's growth. Growth doesn't just look like the whole big picture, because no one tells you about the journey. No one tells you this was hard, or no one talks about the ugly side. And we're so used to social media where we see the highlights and we don't see the work that was put behind it. And everything's become so easy now. To people, they'll buy it or copy, someone else's work, or do something someone else has done and not put in that work, like, okay, how many sleepless nights you had writing your books, how many, counseling sessions, or, friends, had to come and you had to cry on their shows just to get through the process, so it takes a lot of, I want to say faith, but then it also takes a lot of responsibility, and being accountable, not just to your vision, but being accountable to yourself and saying, you know what, I matter. So what I'm doing matters, and I have to keep on and I have to keep pressing on. Hi, Shaneka. Shaneka Stapleton is also an entrepreneur. She has a travel agency, and her travel agency is, can you comment in the comment section the name of your business? Thank you. So yeah, she has a very rewarding travel business, and she does well in her business, and she hops on the live every day. You're gonna see her on the live, and she's doing a video, she's doing a reel of some kind, but she's putting herself out there and letting the community know that, hey, this is me, this is what I do, and what we think of, like, I hear a lot about the airlines and, the comments they make about Spirit Airlines. And then it was so weird. This lady took a picture, and she took this picture. She's the only one on the plane round trip. And it was like less than $100. She said, you can say what you want, but I'm getting where I need to be, and I was like, but guess what? Their comments about that Spirit doesn't care. Spirit has invested in that plane. Spirit has branded themselves. And Spirit Airlines is like, I'm going to fly whoever gets on this plane, if it's 1, 2, or 3 people, So yeah, it's definitely rewarding when we adhere and keep focus on the vision. So my second question is, so the basis of our conversation is always my goal is community, culture, and Christianity. So even as a believer, and most of your books are faith-based topics. Even as a believer, do you find where in the Christian culture, do you find where is it more challenging for you to be Heather Robinson, just Heather Robinson, or do you have to show up with the Masters of Education? Do you have to show up as the author? Do you have to show up as the life coach, or do you show up as all of those things, and are you accepted in that culture versus in the everyday setting outside of the church?
Very interesting. People have a tendency of trying to put you in a box.
Mm-hmm.
You have a master's plus 15, or you have a doctorate's degree. Oh, you have this, you have that. Mm-hmm. I'm just Heather. I'm just, that That girl from Philly that used to be shy,
Yeah.
that lost her parents young, picked up a pen, put it to the pad, and developed a passion.
Yeah.
I'm no better than anybody else, but I'm just me, and I only know how to be me.
Yeah.
So at this stage in my life, what I will say is that probably 85% of my church, including my pastor, has all of my books that are out right now.
Good. Yeah.
So, and that's my church family.
Okay.
So I can say that, and I know that there are other people that can't say that, but I can say that. And what I think it boils down to is when you don't have expectations of people, you can't get disappointed. So I come in and I'm me, and that's all I know how to be. All the other things are added to it, but at my core, I'm that little girl from Philly.
Yes.
That's who I am at my core, you know, like it takes time, and it was a process to get there. But I have gotten there where I'm okay showing up as myself, regardless of the hoopla.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. And even with your education, just knowing you know, this short time, I've realized one thing, that you're very genuine, and you're gonna complete it all the way through the process. You're not gonna leave anything hanging. But that's the whole makeup of, you know, like you said, you put the pen to the paper, and you know who you are. So you don't have to lead with the titles, but you come. That's who you are. That's a part of you. That's still a part of who you are. And so
that's the beauty of knowing whose
you are. Exactly.
You don't have to call me Dr. So-and-so or put any letters behind my name.
Yeah.
Heather is fine because I know whose I am.
That's it.
And that's more important than any title you can put on my name.
That's right. I get that. Thank you for that. And so my next question is kind of like, not a question, but this is it. So whenever you, what was it? So being okay, so in community, would you say, so what would you give, what advice would you give to a starting out entrepreneur, someone who's invested in their business, they've done all the lead work, they've done everything, but they still can't seem to get into the doors and the opportunities that they, you know, desire to be in? And I asked that question because in my reality, I've been in places and I've asked questions, but I haven't, you know, like really beat down any necessary or certain doors. Opportunities would come to me, and I believe they were always meant to come to me. But I believe that because I opened myself up to the idea of, okay, God, this is who you say I am. So back to what we were talking about just now, about knowing whose you are. So when God gives you the blueprint, hey, this is what I've spoken over you, this is who you are, and you don't present yourself into those arenas and into the vision of that person, what would you give to a person who's doing all the legwork, putting together the whole picture, but they're still hiding behind the curtain of who God said they are?
So you running for your life.
Basically.
Right. I did that.
Yeah.
First thing is, I can share my story about how God gave me Anointed to Write in 2010, and I ran till 2021. Wow. But the most overwhelming part for me, and I will share this until the day I take my last breath, would let me know that Anointed to Write was a God thing and not a Heather thing, is that 11 years later, it was still available.
Still there. Wow.
It was still available.
Wow.
So, you know.
Wow.
You really, this is a very interesting thing, because we'll put forth what we think is the legwork, but we won't do what's right in front of us. Like all these free networking events, whether they're virtual or in person, show up.
Show up. That's right.
Show up. If you got books, you better take them with you. If you have product, you better take it with you. If you have services, you better have postcards with your services on it and take it with you. Because if you don't show up to the events that other people are putting on, nobody's going to show up for you.
Exactly.
So you got to start by showing up for other people, and you build that community.
Yeah.
And it's like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Yeah. And I noticed that a lot. I would have like a whole bunch of inventory that I bought, and then I'm sitting there looking at it, and then I'll go somewhere, and there's a festival, there's a sidewalk sale, and I'm like, how did I miss that? And God was like, because you didn't present yourself to that community because you thought they wouldn't welcome you, or either you thought you couldn't sit at that table when I've already seated you, you know, and knowing that now, it seems more evident that whenever we give our own thought, you know, to the idea of who God said we are, instead of just going with what he said, and we put our own, when he says, trust in me with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding. Once we put our own understanding on it, we kind of, we take away his handiwork. We take away what he's already constructed, and then we make our own little box to the side, you know, and now it's like, oh, wait, now, okay, God, but you said this. And he's like, no, this is what I said, but this is what you're doing, you know? And so it's like, when we take our own venture and our own avenue into it, it kind of doesn't look like what he said. But then, like you said, 11 years later, he's still waiting on you to do what he said, you know? So he didn't take what he said and all I'm taking is from Heather, because Heather wasn't listening to me, because he always knew that in 2021, Heather was coming back. Heather was going to show up. It took a while, but she came back. And so that's my initial idea of entrepreneurship. Whether we want to believe or not who God says we are, he's never going to change his mind about who we are. You know, I remember having my first son in 2006.
Yeah, while she's on mute, guys, I also think with business, sometimes we look at the small things. And, you know, the Bible says, don't despise small beginnings. And I think we look at free events as something that's not big enough. Or events where we have to do an investment. We're not willing to invest because we think we're investing in them. You're actually investing in yourself, because whatever is in the room, you have to get in the room to get what is for you in the room.
You're sowing the point.
I have a networking event coming up in December. The vendors are paying, but the other people that are coming to just network are not. Wow. And you're coming and you're networking, and there's an opportunity for people to donate sample products with their actual business information to go into the bags for the vendors. Even if you can't be there, you're still represented.
That's it.
I'm not charging people to put your items in the bag. A lot of people will charge you $10, $15, $25 to put your items in the bag because it's promotion. To me, it's a networking event, so the promotion should be free. Exactly. But it also gives somebody that's out of state that can't come an opportunity to still share their business, because people are going to see something. They're going to be like, well, let me call this person because Christmas is coming up. Exactly.
So yeah, so it's always good. And God says that he's the God that says, I'm going to put you in rooms that your name hasn't been mentioned or your feet haven't walked through. And when he says that, these are these opportunities, you know, these are the ways that you can brand yourself, you know. And I tell people all the time when I hear people say, hey, oh, I don't do that anymore. Oh, I got tired of doing that. Like, how did you get tired of doing something, a gift, you know, that God gave you, you know, something that God said, okay, this is who you are. And I think what it is, because we don't network, we keep that same circle of friends. And so we don't ever get to see who we are outside of those people, you know. And like when God told Abraham to leave his kindred, he didn't mean, oh, you're leaving them and you're forgetting where you came from. He needed him to go see the world. He needed him to go out. He needed him to venture. And even when he was afraid, he still trusted God. and then he made him a father of many nations. He made him a father, over like we're all sons of Abraham. We're all his descendants because he chose to step out and do what God told him to do outside of the faces and the people that he knew. Even when I think about, what I'm doing here, I have no blueprint for this. I have not written out a plan for this. I simply pose a question. Hey, would you like to be on the panel and have a discussion? And if I would never ask, I would never know. If I never open my mouth, he said to ask, seek, and knock. So I'm asking, and in the seek, all kind of opportunities have been opened up and afforded to me. Why? Because I decided to, guess what, not just stay in my circle or what I pose as safe, right, and tell God that even out there you can't protect me. Out there you're not with me. No, he's with you everywhere you go if you take him with you and you follow his leading. And so with that being said, thank you for that information. That was really good. So in the asking, seeking, and knocking, that's where you find the opportunities. Had I never asked you that question, my samples wouldn't, be in the process of being sent to you to be in your room. And who's to say I might not make it to the actual event? You just never know, but God needs you to start it. He needs you to have the faith to say, hey, God, this is something on my heart, because he gives us the desires of our heart, and so if I have enough faith to send my samples and put them in your room, then guess what? God could be like, hey, he can speak to anyone and say, hey, I need you to get her a plane ticket and get her down there.
And guess what? They be like, I got you a Spirit plane ticket. It's both ways. I got the two-way ticket. It's on Spirit. It's two-way ticket.
Okay. And so it's like, you just have to make it.
And when you're traveling for business,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, when you're traveling for business, it's not a vacation.
It's not a vacation. No.
So it's really about getting where you need to get to and getting back. It's not about a vacation.
Yeah.
Like even going to a networking event, even if you don't have to pay a dime to get in the door, you still have to prepare yourself, because you need to present yourself to represent yourself and your brand.
Because you're the brand. You are the brand. Once you put your name on it, you are the brand. So now you are you're petitioned to show up as that person, at all times. And that takes a lot. And I know it's scary out there, to most people, but if we never walk through the door that God has opened for us, how we're going to ever know? And if we stay in the same circle of people that we've always seen, someone wrote that today, I read on Facebook, but exactly. Thank you, Miss LaFrida. And that's my senior sales director, Miss LaFrida Williams from Mary Kay. Just want to say hi to her. Thank you. So thank you for joining us. When you invest in anything and like you were saying about sowing the seed, even if this is your event, it has nothing to do with me, but I'm sowing the seed that I believe in Heather Robinson. I believe in who God created and called her to be. So when I sow that seed, that stuff is being not seen all over, even if it's not seen all over the world. God saw. God knew the intent. Yep. God knew our heart, and he knew that, guess what? I have faith enough to believe that, guess what? One day he said that I'm going to be an author. One day he said that I'm going to have these same shows, so I'm going to sow this seed to my sister and I'm going to show up, and so it just takes the necessary, like you said, it's not always the lead work. It's always that faith to say that, guess what, God, I believe who you said I am. I look back on my son last night, and we go on Facebook and they have all these things, and he's a senior. He's graduating soon in May, and it was the scriptures. We believe what heaven said, and I didn't even know. It was Matthew 18:19. It says, again, truly I tell you that if two of you on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. And I was like, whoa, And I'm like, me and him, I can remember when he was like 7, we would high five. And he was like, Mama, we going all the way. And we like till the wheels fall off. And that was something we just did, And when I stood on side of him last night at his senior night on the field, when we got home, all that cheering, all that support, everything, every game I showed up to, everything he did, my big 6'1" senior rested his head on my shoulder. He said, Mom, I was so happy my dad was there. And you know what I said? I was like, yes. Because I it wasn't even about me. All that I did, all the showing up I did for him, he was so happy that his dad showed up.
Because he needed it. That's what he needed.
I was like, that's what he needed. Mm-hmm. He needed all that I did, all the pushing and the warring and the praying and the tears and everything else, but he needed his dad last night, and his dad showed up for him. And I was like, wow. But all I did was keep sowing the seeds that I sowed, kept him stable. It kept his mind and his heart open to even receive, like, okay, this is my moment, but I really wanted my dad there. Hold on, y'all. So yeah, so he definitely and they won. So that was the icing on the cake for his senior night. So he was like really excited. We all still amped up about that. But yeah, so going forward, and I think I have one more question. So being in the community, I think that was the second part of the question that I asked. So what would you say would be the idea if there are opportunities in the community? I'll ask this question. What are some opportunities that you have that you know of that people can venture in, or avenues that they can put themselves in those communities and in those rooms, and they have build the tenacity to be who, to be like, what, hey, I may not fit here, but I belong here. What would be your ideal advice to give them to say, hey, let me step out on faith and not deal with all the noise. Let me just go and be, who God called me to be.
This is really twofold, because there's so much out here at our fingertips that we don't know about, because we spend more time on focusing on what we don't have than we do on what's out there. Yeah. There's so many free events out there that you can show up to. And like you said, you are the brand. You show up and you represent your brand. If you're someone that's introverted and you're shy, there's some free classes. Let me tell you, I just finished up, and the graduation is actually on Wednesday. Milestone Circles. I was in cohort 138. This is a certification program for entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Free of charge.
Wow.
Wells Fargo funds it. Oh, wow. It's all over Facebook. It's been on Facebook all year. People just look at those things and bypass them. But this is also the credibility we were talking about. People want to know what makes you credible. Mm-hmm. Another program that I'm a part of, and I'm finishing up my last 2 weeks. Girl, I'm doing a lot. Now that I'm Cornell, they have a women's entrepreneurship program.
Yes, I love Cornell. They have so many opportunities on there.
It is a 6-week program. It's 5 classes. Let me see. It's 5 classes, and each class is 2 weeks. Yeah. And it's funded by Bank of America. Now, they have a wait list, but if you're applying on that wait list, I promise you they'll get back to you.
They'll get back to you.
In their program, they actually take you step by step on how to, mm-hmm. if you already started your business, how to pivot. Things that you didn't think of, your core values, mm-hmm. your business plan. They help you really think through things that you've planned that maybe didn't work, and the why behind this is why it didn't work. So you dust yourself off and you do it this way.
Do it this way.
Maybe instead of an in-person conference, you start with a virtual conference. Mm-hmm. Maybe connecting with different groups and getting in these different circles where you can do virtual networking to get your name out there is something that you might want to start with if you're someone that is introverted. I like to call myself an introverted extrovert.
Okay.
And I blame it on my husband because he's a minister.
So okay.
He's got to be extrovert. But I would prefer to be an introvert. Mm-hmm. But God didn't call me to be an introvert.
No.
And so what God called me to is not what I wanted, mm-hmm. but it's what I needed.
Exactly.
And there's a difference between a want and a need. Mm-hmm. And as you navigate through this thing called life, you're going to have ups and downs. God is putting his hand out there and he's like, I got everything you need. All you got to do, you don't have to be scared. I got your back. Just reach your hand out.
That's it.
Reach your hand out. It's just like the man walking on water. When your focus was on God, you were able to walk on water. But when you got distracted, what happened?
Started sinking.
I did a talk today, navigating through pain to purpose. We got to be like a horse and put up our blinders. Mm-hmm. You can't see what's going on to the left or to the right because you're too focused on what's ahead.
Going forward.
We're so into, looking in that rear view mirror. God don't want you to look back. He wants you to look forward. Learn from those things, but don't dwell there.
Don't dwell. Yeah.
You got to get up and do something. If you want something different, you got to be willing to do something different. And mm-hmm. It doesn't always cost money. Mm-hmm. What's more precious than your money is your time. And you got to make sure your time is well spent. If you want to be an entrepreneur, it takes time and grit and research, and you got to show up.
Yes.
Because here's what I know. You can have something and you like, I invited 500 people, only 50 people showed up. The people that were supposed to be there were there.
We're there. And that's it. I'm so glad you said that. We look in the crowd for confirmation, and the confirmation is it's right there in front of our face. Who's missing was not meant to be there. Right. Who didn't clap was not meant to clap. Who didn't cheer, they were not meant to cheer. Whoever didn't congratulate, they were not meant to. They're not there yet, because these things I've learned, they flow freely. Congratulations comes freely for me now. I had a time where I was like, why this with me? And it was just like, now it's not your season to look at you. It's your season to look at the how. Look at how they did it. Look at why they did it. Look at their drive. Look at their work ethic. Pay attention to the character. Pay attention to how they present themselves. So I was in a learning season and not a receiving season in a moment, and it was hard because that's like, when is this going to happen for me? When I'm going to have this opportunity to do these things and be at these places and blah, blah, blah. And I'm asking all these questions to God, and God is like, I need you to sit right here. And I need you to learn something, because even to go in those rooms, what we don't understand is there's a lot of things that have to happen before we go into. I'm glad, and this is the whole point of this. I'm glad God didn't send me to some of those places before he got me together, because you don't receive well, you don't take criticism well, you don't. It was so many things, and I was like, Lord, why? And it's like, look, and he would something would happen, and I would have to, respond to a situation or a circumstance, and something would happen, and he's like, see, that's why you can't go, and it wasn't to scold me, but he's like, I need you to, that thing I'm trying to get rid of from you, I need you to let that go so I can send you where you need to be. So there is a preparation, in being an entrepreneur. There's a preparation in putting yourself, in those rooms, because who we want to be is not necessarily who God has created us to be, because we can put on an image, right. like Saul and Jonathan. Was it Saul? Yeah. When he gave him his armor to put on his armor, it did fit him.
Right.
So not everything fits you and who you desire to go into the room as. Sometimes God needs you to go just as you. Going back to our first question, going into that room and being Heather Robinson, not Heather Robinson, the preacher's wife, the M.Ed, the coach, the business owner, entrepreneur, just going into that room as Heather, because that's where he can start his perfect work. That's where the perfect work starts. That's where he gets to, mold us and shape us into that entrepreneur that represents him, because we are representing him at the end of the day. So definitely a great question. And I'm glad you broke it down that way, because we need to know that whenever we do, go into these rooms, we are the brand, and then we need to present ourselves as that person, who knows that this is where I am, this is where I'm supposed to be, having that God confidence, not that confidence of man, or need the reassurance from the crowd or the claps from the crowd, because not everyone is going to clap. Not everyone is going to
and I'm so glad you said that, because it takes me to your target audience. Not everybody is your target audience. No. Your family is your family. They're not your target audience. Your friends are your friends. They're not your target audience. The sooner you come to that resolve, the better your relationships will be, because you're holding them to something that's not fair, because they're not your audience, and you expect them to show up and be a part of things that they are not supposed to be a part of.
Yeah, because they know you as you, but they know a you that they probably grew up with. They know a you that they've had some type of disagreement with. They know a you, they know the you that they lock in their mind, and when we're created, born again, I guess I can say, when we become a new creature in Christ, we are a new creature. So people won't sometimes recognize, well, who is this person? I don't know her to be that person. She used to be this, and that's the key word, used to be. Right. So whoever you're, like you said, family they're not your market. Family is never the market. It's great when family supports you. It's great when family stands up for you and go to bat for you. It is all great, but there is a season in life and growth that they're not. And you can't focus on that, because what the enemy wants to do is lock us in disappointment and resentment and regret, and like, oh, I should have never did that because they didn't even come. Oh, I shouldn't have did this because they didn't even come. And or they didn't show up, or they didn't congratulate me, and one thing about knowing God and being, we're not elite. We are not elite. We're of the elect, being saved. And so there's a difference. I'm not more than anybody. We're all created equal in his image and his likeness, but there is a standard, and that standard does say, I have to go about this a different way than what you would go about it. My response has to be different. My reactions have to be different. So it's a lot of personal things that we exclude also, in entrepreneurship, that we really have to put a stamp on and say, hey, how I probably would have responded, I could go in the corner and cry, but even in entrepreneurship, it's taking a risk. You are the risk taker. You're the one who decides that I'm going to do this different, pass, fail, start over again 20 times. I'm still going to keep on pressing, because I know that it's going to get done. I know that I'm going to stay the course. And so that's good. I had another thought and I don't know where it's going to come back to me though. So yeah. So Ms. Heather, do you have any of your books or anything you want to pin in the comments that you have for sale, or how they can purchase your books and get to your website?
You said pin in the comments.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to actually pin my link tree, because my books can actually be purchased through my link tree. I am not on Amazon. I was on Amazon, but Amazon takes too much of a profit off of my books, so I'm not on Amazon anymore. But I'm also able to sell my books for less because I'm not on Amazon. So my books can be found on my link tree. And actually, if you click on my name to get on my Facebook page, and my information is my link tree, and then you can click on that and then purchase my books, and they're all there. And let me see here. I'm going to try to pin this. Let's see. I'm going to pin the link tree, and I'm going to type in the titles of the book. Or at least I'm going to try to pin it, because y'all, I'm just probably 3/4 of the year I've been on Facebook, and that's it. Are you on mute? Yeah, you're on mute.
And I'm just talking up a storm. So I think I got one in there. I started, I don't know how to get it to pin. So yeah.
Yeah. Trying to see.
Okay, I got the link tree posted in there, so you can you'll be able to do the other one.
Yeah, so when they go to Linktree, if they scroll down, it will say purchase my books.
Okay. And I also tagged the eCornell University. So that's where you can find the free resources for entrepreneurs, for classes. And this is not just for entrepreneurs. If you're in the community and you feel that you want to get some knowledge before becoming an entrepreneur, before starting your business, eCornell is that place to just get in the door or get in the room with like-minded people, who also have a vision and want, to become a brand or want to start a business of some sort. So you don't necessarily have to already have a business, because we're not going to be that biased. Opportunities for everyone. But if you do have a business, it's always great to continue education and to learn more, because your customer they don't know. So the customer wants to know what you know.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they will test you
to see.
Yep.
Definitely test you to see, because they want to know before they spend their money. They want to know, like, okay,
that's right.
Person? Yeah.
The same way we would want to know before we spend our money.
Before I spend our money, yeah. And it's just a matter of, how would I say that? Treat me how they say, treat me how you want to be treated. But no, it's really just be you. No representatives. Don't show up. Who you say you are. Show up as that person. Yes. All the time. Yeah,
that's important too, because people we're in a season where people need authenticity.
That's right.
They need it so bad, because it's something that's lacking. A lot of people lack integrity, and a lot of people have, people say, oh, we got church hurt. Well, people have coach hurt, business hurt. And the one thing that I am a strong proponent of, if you are starting out in business or you are trying to revamp, you need a coach.
You need a coach.
And if you can't get a coach, you need a mentor.
Yeah. And I thank God for that. I've been with my mentor for over 3 years now. And it's not a one-sided thing. She's not, we speak into each other's lives, so as we learn, as we grow, wisdom is all around. So everyone gets an opportunity, to speak into each other's lives, and we have, different, sessions and master classes, where, and being connected to someone who hears from God, who's authentic and who loves God, because you have to love God in order to love others. It's just the ideal package. I can have a mentor that doesn't question my character, that doesn't question my habits, that doesn't question, my health, and you're not interested or invested in who I am overall, my family, as a person. We can have those people, because there are some people who just want your money, and they're just going to teach you a few things and get you through the business side, but have no personal connection to you whatsoever. They're not invested in the person. They're invested in selling their product, and that's it. And so it's always important to have that person, someone you're connected to that's authentic, loves God, and also and is excited about your future just as much as you are. And knowing who you are, and embracing that this is who God called me to be, and having someone that's not intimidated by that, because that's another thing. Some people, we can get connected to some people that are extremely intimidated by, who God called us to be. And I was standing up in the mirror, or somewhere it was the other day, and I was like, God, I need you. You did not need me. Right. Like, he did not need me. I need him every day. Just to even show up every day, to show up as me, to show up as the mom, the daughter, the sister, the cousin, just to show up. I need him. So, and we not preaching, so don't go tell nobody I'm on here preaching.
Yeah, but you need him too, because listen, and this is where it gets real. You need him because some relationships are just tough.
They're tough. Yeah. And they'll test you. And that's another thing, being tested in those seasons of testing. God's not going to send everybody that puts the icing on your cake. All the people that you're going to be connected to and meet are not going to be nice. They're all not going to be in agreement with what you want to do. They're all not going to just show up perfect patties, or encouraging earnest, for the males. That everybody's not just going to show up, yay, go you, like all excited. This is not going to happen. This is not reality.
Yeah.
You're going to have some people who they're just going to come with controversy, and they're going to question everything you're doing. Even if they don't tell you, they're going to have a conscience about, okay, who she thinks she is, or they're going to have that. What's another one? The common ones. What you think you doing? All those people are going to come.
The things that they say about you is really them deflecting how they feel about themselves on someone else. Who she thinks she is. She thinks she this. She thinks she that. No, actually, you think I'm that.
You think all of that, because and to know is to know. And I always say this, and
to know better is to do better.
To do better, and I strongly believe, had I never put a message in that group setting for entrepreneurs that we're both a member of, had I never posed the question, I would have never met you. I'd have never known your hair washing regimen. I would have never known what else about your ministry, your books. I just would have never known anything about you, and just perceived from a picture, oh, she this, that, or the other. Right. And some people, the majority of the people who have the issue with you, they've never engaged in a conversation. They fail to get to know you, and they're too afraid of what somebody's going to say because they engage with you, or they have most of them they have some homage they got to pay to somebody else, before I got to get permission from this person before I engage with you, because they said that, it's just a whole bunch of melee. And the beauty of it all, God says, show yourself friendly. And showing yourself friendly can open you up a world of friends, to and not saying everybody is just a welcoming friend party, but it just opens you up to probably something you learn, like the keep my circle small theory. That's not true. That's not at all true. Keeping your circle small.
That comes from fear. That just comes from fear.
It's a fear-based reality. It really is, because keeping your circle small, you'll be still going around that same merry-go-round 10 years from now, because you never stepped out on faith, and you never said hey to somebody. And it's that simple as saying hi. Hi, my name is this, or hi, I do this. And I've learned not introducing myself always, oh, I'm a CEO, oh, I own, a boutique, or this, that, and other. I just say hi. I say my name. I have 3 boys. And after that, everything else comes out, because now they want to know, what's that you're wearing? What do you have on? Who did your hair? So all those things come from just saying hello. Yeah. All those things come.
My dad used to always say, it don't hurt to speak.
It don't hurt to speak. God, that's powerful. It don't hurt to speak.
And it took me a long time.
I know. And something.
It took me a long time. I used to be like, why are you speaking to people you don't know? Because my dad would speak to any and every. My husband's the same way. I'm starting to be that way, but I didn't understand as a kid.
I had a guy say, not everybody your friend. I'm like, how would I know? How would I know? And if I never experienced anything, how would I know how to be a friend if I never open myself up to being friendly?
That's the important part. We get so caught up in the ouch.
Yep.
That we can't move past it. And it's funny, because I had a mentor ask me, where'd you get stuck?
Wow.
That's a question. But I had an answer. I had an answer, because we worked through some things. And then by the end, I had my answer, and I got stuck in the blame game. You blame everybody else. Everybody else for whatever you got going on. It's everybody else's fault. It ain't your fault. Every little thing that go wrong in your life is everybody else's fault. If it's a miscommunication on your end, it couldn't possibly be on my end. It's his fault. It's her fault. Not taking responsibility.
This was my reality. I ain't did them nothing. How do you know? Just your silence probably was doing them a lot.
That right there. Yeah, you don't know what someone's facing. You can't just assume people are okay because they look okay. And I feel like we do that. Like we judge people based off of their appearances. Someone can look beat to the gods and be broken as a broken piece of glass. There's a such thing as RTT. God downloaded this to me one day. I got up at 4 a.m. and was working on it till 8 a.m. straight through. He just was depositing things, and I was writing it as I was getting it. And now I have something called RTT. It's reclaim your power, take back your voice, and tell your story.
Wow. That's good.
And that turned into a coaching program. Why? Because God coached me through that. Then gave me the tools to share with other people.
And that's so crazy. That's an ouch, because I have a book titled Reclaiming Your Voice, God's Master Plan. And it's probably already written if I would dig it out of those notebooks and put it on the paper. But it was something about reclaiming your voice that, for the last 3 years, God was just downloading that. Like, I was like, what is this about?
Because you get so silenced by your pain. You just get so silenced by your pain. And it's like, we're in a society where as women, you're expected, men too, we're expected to just keep doing whatever our role is, and I won't get gender specific because that's a thing too, but we're just expected to get up and keep going. If you get sick with the flu, who won't take care of your kids? You still got to get up and keep going through all of that.
That's it.
Right? People don't understand certain things that you go through if they haven't been through it. No. If someone hasn't been through a miscarriage, I don't care how many kids you have. You don't understand the pain of a miscarriage because you ain't been through it.
Never been through it.
Right? If someone's never been through a divorce, I don't care if your sister been through a divorce. If you ain't been through a divorce, you can't relate and you don't understand that.
No relatability. That's right.
So I think instead of trying to compare tragedy stories or judge somebody based off of something, or always you got to know everything, you got to be right all the time. Let people's story be their story and let their experiences be their experiences. I was telling my husband, I said, I have an experience that certain people in the family feel some type of way of, but how you gonna feel some type of way of my experience with a specific person when it's my experience, it's my truth. I didn't say it was your truth, I said it was mine. And we got to stop taking that away from people. Allow people to own their stuff, own their experiences, earn their hurts, own their struggles. You know, we can't just say pray it away. God put therapists and counselors in position for a reason. If we didn't need them, he wouldn't have created them.
They wouldn't exist. Yeah. And you just this was a common one. It happened, get over it. No.
Right. That part.
No. We cannot just let things happen and we get over it.
Just get over it. And it'll always come from somebody that ain't been through what you've been through.
That's never been through it. And we do get over it. But I need
you went through a divorce, get over it. Have you been through a divorce? No. So how can you tell somebody that's been through a divorce to get over it? Everybody's process is different. I might bounce back fast. It might take you 20 years.
Because that's what they're not. Some people don't understand the word get. Getting. That doesn't just mean it's going to happen today or it's going to happen tomorrow or it's going to happen, because even so, it could be 20 years down the line. If you have not met that right person or had that encounter, you're going to be getting, it's just going to happen. You're going to be getting for as long as you get to the right place, and the right people to that's necessary, and the getting, it may not require you to go to a therapist. It may not require you the getting over it. It just may require you to embrace something new and to go somewhere new, to be in a different place. The getting is a requirement, but what if I never get to what I need to get to?
And the Bible says, for wisdom is the principal thing. With all thy getting. Get understanding. And the thing that people don't understand is wisdom doesn't come from age. Wisdom comes from experience.
That's it. I don't care.
And if you ain't experienced much and you 90, you don't got much wisdom. But if you experience a world of stuff and you 25, you got wisdom.
Got some wisdom. And there's a lot of people that have been through a lot of things. Young in age that are full, and can really make a change and make a difference. But if they're never given that opportunity to say, let my light shine, let me shine my light, let me speak, let me talk, let me say what I need to say, let me give me the opportunity to bring attention or awareness to what I've been through,
right?
Who they're helping, And so even having a place to pour, a safe place to pour, a safe place to say, hey, this is what happened to me. This is my story. Yeah, because it has to be safe. Because if it's not safe, then you end up right back in the same upheaval that you've been trying to get out of, Because I have to know that I can I can drop my stones at your door and you're not going to take my stones and throw them back at me.
That part.
That's happening a lot. I'm trusting you. I'm pouring my stuff out to you. I'm telling you all these, things going on in my mind and my heart. And here you are throwing these rocks right back at me when there's a disagreement or difference. We're all, if people would acknowledge that we are all different, we are all different. So we're not going to always agree. So there's never a need for Mad Day, because we're never going to agree all the time, Right. But even when we disagree, we're adult enough to say, have your day and we'll talk later. Not take that rock. Oh yeah, because she told me she went through this at a certain time in her life, and okay, now you're throwing the rocks right back at me, and I thought I could drop those rocks with you, and so it's crazy out there. But so being a safe place is another way to navigate those the necessary, to get to that person that says, hey, you know what, if I don't try, I'll never know. And being in a community, even if it's not your community or your immediate community,
right,
putting your feet to the ground and said, hey, listen, I need to go where I'm going to get what I need. If it's not here, it has to be there. So I need to go try to get there. That should be my focus, getting where it's at, getting to the place that, is that embraces my journey and knows like, hey, she's starting out. She needs to know, the ins and outs. She needs to know the doors that she needs to walk through, even the doors that you don't need to walk through, because we don't have to always go and bump our head to get to the promised land. It can be a good, easy walk, and sometimes it's not. But if you've already been through it and Heather's bumped her head, oh, hey, look, Adrian, let me show you. Don't go this way, because I went that way and that didn't work.
Right.
So yeah. So I think we are, even with that being said, responsible. I posted this a while back. The next generation is looking at what we're doing. And they want to know, how did you do it? And if we can save them some of the hiccups, and we can place in their community the necessary things that they need to get there, why not?
Right.
We're not making it easy for them. We're just we're giving them, and not even a shortcut, we're giving them a blueprint of saying, hey, this is how you get there, so you can get busy.
Where's the church?
I don't know. So you can get busy, for the generation that's coming after you,
Yeah.
So yeah, so definitely. So thank you, Ms. Heather. We've been on here chatting. And we're just talking, you guys. So whoever's watching the replay, we're just talking about community, entrepreneurship, just a few things, ins and out, of just taking the risk and, being who God called you to be and knowing who you are. And also we pinned in the comments some opportunities, Ms. Heather's pinned in the comments her link tree, and then in her link tree link you can get to know who she is and everything she has to offer as far as her business and her books, and they're available to be purchased on that link also. And so, Ms. Heather, if there's not anything else that you would like to talk about, because we can stay here all night, girl. But I know I have babies too. I need to get to them because they're like looking at me like, wait. He said,
like, what's she doing?
Yeah, what's she doing? You said hour. So yeah, so definitely we want to get to that place where we become bold and courageous, like God said, and go after, everything that's afforded to us out there, and to embrace, who He's called us to be, and not be afraid to take those risks, and also do the lead work, to become that person who you see, and ask God to give you the vision. We say write the vision, that's the word, but God has to also give you the vision because it comes from Him, so we can write it, but He has to give it to us also. So trust in Him enough to say, okay, God, you gave me this, even when He gives it to you. Faith without works is dead. So we definitely want to get to action, and we want to do those things in our community, so we can leave our blueprint there, and also to branch out, and that's the biggest thing I believe is, as far as being an entrepreneur. Don't stay where you're known. Go where you're unknown. That's where you'll see. You'll get to witness firsthand that I'm in the right place. Because if you don't meet those people, you won't know. So, any last comments, Ms. Heather?
Wow, I really think you said it all. The only thing I can tell you guys is I am a personal relationship coach. I also offer writing, speaking, and media prep coaching. If you're looking to write your book, if you are looking to utilize what you already have And if you're looking to create a book that can help enhance your business, especially if you're a coach, because I feel like every coach should have a book, contact me. My link tree has all my contact information, or you can click on my name here, go to my Facebook, and my information, or that's in the cards. It's all there. Or you can DM me. And the scripture that I stand on is Romans 8:28. So we know that all things, not some things, not most things, but all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purposes.
Amen.
So you stand in that when you're having hard times. You stand in that when you feel like your back is against the wall. And I promise you that as you're navigating this thing called life and you're navigating through your pain to your purpose, God will carry you through.
Amen. Amen. That is so true. And thank you, Miss Heather, for being on tonight. We appreciate you. We thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom. Her link tree is in the comments. And so, hey, Chiquita and Adicia, thank y'all for joining. We actually are ending, but thank y'all for coming on. And so next week, hopefully, or week after, we'll have to reschedule soon so you can get back on here and we'll talk more about your books and your business. So we'll just have a Saturday or a day where we can, just discuss those things and get those things out there.
All right.
So thank you, Miss Heather. God bless you. Thank you. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.